to disk, which is critical. Think about that. Vendor lock. If if you're using one of the legacy solutions out there, you try to move it, what's your thought process now? Rip and replace. Not with Devo. We're a lift and shift type of company, whether it's into Devo or out of Devo. And with that, we have zero data transformations. So that's really critical too, because we could take in your known, your unknown data. We don't transform it. And like I said, we're built in the cloud. So our first line of Devo was written in AWS. So we didn't take an on-premise solution, forklift, throw it in a container, forklift it, throw it in AWS and say, hey, look, we got a cloud offering. No, first line of code was written there. And with that said, we can take advantage of those underlying technologies that are provided to us. So that we can give you things such as 400 days of hot storage, 10-to-1 average data compression ratios. It's not like you pay for data at rest, but we can compress it down that small. And then finally, you'll see in here something called micro-indexes at the bottom. Micro-indexing is what really gets me excited about Devo. And yes, indexes do get me excited. One of the hardest things that when I was a principal engineer for one of the leading SIEM solutions was indexing strategies. We would sit there, whiteboard out, all right, put this data in this bucket, this data in this bucket, keep it under this proprietary license. What's really nice now is that's gone. Because of our role-based access controls, you can have the same granular control over your data, but you don't have to manage the indexes the same way. Think of it this way. You're going to do a search, doing a threat hunt, and you're looking for what John Smith, this user did during a certain period of time. The legacy solutions, you're going to have to sit there and pull in all sorts of indexes of data, like index equals, identity, index equals, firewall, and index equals this. By the time you go to do your search, you've already pulled in maybe petabits of data. That's going to be a problem because that's not fast. With us, all of that data is in one bucket, and they're automatic. So you don't have any human interaction involved in doing that. That allows us to give you things such as true real-time searches. Critical. This day and age, being on the bleeding edge of what's in your environment, what's occurring, absolutely critical. I don't have to sit here and explain that to you. You all know why. So let's go ahead and talk about first getting data into Devo, and then I just want to show you one more comparison, one more thing, and then we will get into the demo. So Devo at its core, like I said, built in the cloud. So one of the great things about also with our architecture is we are the people that designed Devo from the beginning had agent agnostic as a key function. We don't care what the agent is. So you can use your proprietary agent, you can use open source agents if you want to bring that data in. Additionally, you can use syslog. If you have a syslog or any other collection methodology that's in your environment. Remember I mentioned earlier, we don't rip and replace, we lift and shift. Same thing goes transitioning into Devo. We can take advantage of your underlying logging strategies that you currently have deployed. Run in parallel, transition over to Devo. We also offer the Devo Relay, which is a small virtual appliance that's going to sit behind your firewall, and that's going to collect anything that's on-prem that you don't have a strategy for now. And it's a pretty automated piece of software. You basically send it to the relay, the centralized collection point internally, poke one firewall, roll through to your Devo instance, and then boom, you've got data into your Devo. Finally, cloud sources, your Azure, your AWS, your GCPs, your Salesforces, all those fun ones. Including your license, all you really need to do is bring your API key. We'll stand up behind you, like I said, including your license. We're going to stand up what we call a collection server. That collection server is going to go to those services, pull that data down securely, and put it immediately into your Devo instance. Very, 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 very easy to do. I do them daily for customers, whether they're prospects or whether they're production customers. So let's do one more thing here. I mentioned micro-indexing, I mentioned speed of use, all of those great things, but what does it look like on paper? I'm a visual guy. Let's take a look at this. Because of our micro-indexing, because of how we work, how of our architecture, you can see the reduction in time and search. This is where that buckets of data come into play. Just doing something arbitrary is finding any host name that has the word Sasquatch in it. Traditional solutions, it's going to take over 5 hours because you're bringing in all the hay. You're bringing all that hay and you're looking for that needle. With Devo, we're just bringing in the hay that we know that needle's in. Not bringing in extra bales, we're just bringing in the hay that we know the needle exists in. Gives you a 98% reduction in efficient searches. Think about what you're going to do with that extra 98% of your time. That could be a minute, that could be a day, that could be a month. That's how fast, that's how our architecture will help make your days, nights much better and much easier. Okay, I'm going to stop with these slides, and I'm going to go right into Devo. Hold on one second here. I'm going to stop sharing and then re-share this out. Make sure we've got this. All right, let's try it one more time. See if I can do that. All right. Boom. All right. So we are in Devo right now. This is Devo, and this is actually how we do data search. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have the ability, if you wanted to, you could, if we're going to try and keep it as apples to apples with traditional solutions. Does not last very long. In fact, it ends about right here. If I wanted to, I could type in something like, iPhone. Got my caps locked on. I could type in like iPhone, if I type that correctly. Or, if I wanted to, this is all link you. So if you know SQL, you can use link you. Like select all from firewalls. So, we could do that if I wanted to. But the majority, and when I say the majority of our customers, myself, mine included, I'd say 99% is the majority, is just going to click through on their searches. So in this instance, let's say I'm a network analyst, and I just want to see who's connected to my firewalls. I could just simply come in, click on firewall. We got multiple technology. We got some Cisco, Juniper, Palo, and Sophos. I think there's some more in here. We'll go ahead and we'll look over all those different data sources at their traffic logs. You'll see this will return back relatively quickly. Demo environment, you never know. I'm actually going to click something momentarily here, and this is putting everything in real time. So now I've put this search to return in real-time results. So as data is received by Devo, it's going to be presented right to you. Think of this as, if you're debugging an issue on Unix, this is like having tail minus F for all of your logs, not just your Unix, one machine Unix log. This is all of your logs with that tool in place. I am going to turn off real time simply because it can get a little distracting. But I do want to point out in here a couple of things. One, you can see we have those multiple technologies like I mentioned before. We got the Force Points, your Junipers, Palo, some ASA. I knew we had that in there. But you'll also notice in here we've got some null values. Probably, wondering why would a vendor show me null values that look like mistakes in the search. That's not. This is how we're designed to work. All parsing is to us, all these parse fields are to us, is a virtual view.
Hey, Michael?
If I take something like, yes?
Hey, Zoe here. Your screen's actually not showing the demo screen?
It's not?
No. Do you want to? I would try sharing again from up top.
Let me do that.
Sorry about that, you guys.
I appreciate you letting me know. All right, let's try one more time. I'll see the whole screen. There we go. All right. How about now? How are we looking?
I think that should be it. Does anybody in the audience want to let us know on chat that it looks good, right?
All right. We'll go with yes. We'll go with yes. All right. So let me back up just a moment here. So I guess nobody probably saw the real time. I'll just quickly show you what it looks like. It's simply this button right here. You can see my results back, all that good stuff. I haven't done that much, guys. So like I said, I'm a network analyst or an architect or whatever I want to give my title to be, and I want to know who's made those connections to my firewall. Let's see who's done it. I could take this source IP, and let's just build a little quick enrichment here. We'll go ahead and get those country codes, and using a built-in enrichment from MaxLines, country, we'll go ahead and create that column. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a column at the end of my large window here. And it's that virtual view I was just discussing when it comes to parsing. You're going to see all sorts of different fields. Sometimes you might see multiple fields. I'm going to pause right about here in this raw source. This raw source is what I'm searching against. This is where, yeah, it's nice to have a parser if you have a pretty view, but you can still search, alert, do all of your work on just that raw source, because that's all we really truly care about within Devo. That's where all your work's going to be. And if I keep going over here, we can see I got some null values. I'll go ahead and I'm going to filter out any non-routable IP addresses. I know my screen's still drawing here. It's running in real time. All right. So now I've kind of filtered this down to what I care about. You know, I got my country codes. Let's go ahead and group this view up. We do offer time-based grouping, which if you're using a traditional solution out there, it's kind of how that's pretty much what they consider real time. I'm going to go ahead and grab that source IP column. You'll see why in just a moment. If I group these. Okay. So I've just redrawn my view. And my view here is for me. This does not affect any raw source. This did not affect any of my colleagues that might be in the environment. In fact, actually, I'm going to go ahead and throw a quick little aggregate on here to show, you know, see what kind of weight we've got here. And I'm a visual person. I even said that earlier. I'm actually going to put this all on a map. Just how I am. Let's go ahead and we'll get some latitude going here. Let's go ahead, latitude. Oops, we can't spell latitude. All right, latitude. And longitude. Go ahead, L2, longitude. You can tell I've done this before. All right, longitude. All right. As this is building out those, you'll see up here in that link queue window, if you don't know link queue, we'll kind of teach you as you're going along. You can see up here, we're building out the link queue for you, so you can make those changes if you wanted to. But we've got what we want. And I want to put this on a map. I simply just come in here now that I've got this, go ahead and get my coordinates, drop my latitude, my longitude, and of course weight. All right, I'm going to maximize this as it renders. It's going to be a little bit slower on my machine here. But you'll notice as this draws out, probably not the most useful map in the world, but at the same time, I built a map visualizing what's connecting to my firewalls, where they're at, and I could have done it all with my mouse in less than 30 seconds. Real beauty behind this is if I wanted to, let's say this is something valuable to me, I can go ahead and I can just embed this up here. I can, you know, save this view off for myself. I can share this out with my colleagues. Heck, I could use this as a baseline for any of my other searches because we source control all of the stuff, all of our work in Devo. What do you mean by source control? We'll bring up this thing called the node tree. See, it's pretty linear, straight down, nothing much to it. We have a full audit trail on every activity that occurs within Devo. So you know, there's searching, but also this is where we're taking advantage of that audit trail of what have you been up to? Let's go ahead and revert back to, maybe did that count? Nothing major here. Let's say, though, this is a large search, and I forgot to add a column. I'm going to go ahead and just create a column of nothing. Should all be true? Yep, all true. Okay, let's bring back up my little node tree. Look at that. We've got a split. It's because we automatically forked over off of that search where we're at. Now, let's say I wanted to do everything. I don't want to repeat all the work I've done. I simply just merge over the search terms. Bada bing, bada boom. Look, all my work there. Now I've also got my column. So all my work is there for me. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. Don't have to go back. Oh, no, I made a mistake. Fast, efficient, speed. If I wanted to even more, I'd take this another level. Let's say I'm wanting to be alerted to any time the count, the connections made to a certain country. All I have to do is simply come into my actions up here, create a new alert. Also, I can take this content, and since it's repeatable, put in an active board. Active boards in Devo are just repeatable content, things that you don't necessarily want to have to do over and over again. And in this case, I've got some McAfee data here. This is repeatable content. But if I wanted to, I can make modifications to this. And I simply just come in, take my widgets, drag them, drop them in where I want them. Same thing with the query. This is a query we just last did. I can simply just take that. I just simply take the query, drag and drop it into the widget, and there it is. Same with inputs. And then finally, repeatable content's great, but who wants to develop all of that yourself? That's where this is where Devo separates itself even more. This is an app store. We call it the Devo Exchange. This came out of a lot of asks of our customers. Devo's is a really great company to work with because we take feedback so seriously. Customers wanted an easy-to-use app store, which we have now. First things first, I'm not bragging about having an app store, but I am bragging about this. Everything in here is self-service. I wanted to install this Agari phishing defense monitor, simply just hit install. Let's say that I have issues installing it. I can open a support ticket. Gone over the days of hunting down developers that have left companies 5 years ago, don't know what you're talking about. All of these fall under support. If you have an issue at 3 in the morning, deploying Devo user tracking or standard alert packaging, you can open up a support ticket and you will get immediate support. And then finally, in here, let's talk about integrations one last time. So if I come in here, I'm just going to show it from an alert configuration type of point of view. So let's say we've created an alert, we've got all this repeatable content, now I want to be notified of it. That's where that API that I mentioned earlier comes really into play. And that's, if you take a look here, we've got basic, these are just some of our integrations. We got email integration, of course, that's table stakes. We also have, technology alliance partners such as ServiceNow, Slack, which I use the daylights out of, PagerDuty, very common one, Service Desk, Jira, Pushover, all those fun ones. But also you'll see up here we got this HTTP JSON. What's really nice about this is, let's say you have a homegrown product or a solution that's not listed here or whatever. This is where we have that open integration point where you're like, you know what, I just want to send this data. Maybe I want to send it to a third-party auditor, a third-party resolution company, any of those. Simply just come in here, create your connection. And that's all it is. So with about 5-10 minutes left here, a little less than 10 minutes, I do like to take time to see if there's any questions in our chat. And if you guys have any questions for me, this is the time. This is where we really have fun. So I'm going to pivot back over here. I am going to stop sharing first so I don't reveal anybody's names. Do we have any questions in here? All right. Okay. Is there any questions for anybody? All right. Well, with that said, then, I think that this is a good point to stop. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. It's my full name, michael.mcginnis@devo.com, or feel free to reach out to your account representative or your solutions engineer with any follow-up questions. Thank you, guys, and have a great day. Bye-bye.